All right. How's it going, everyone? It's a pleasure to meet you all today. So, what's been up? Well, I'd first of all like to say this. It's been a while. I definitely, um, it's been a while since I've done some episodes. And I think that could be due to a multitude of different reasons. I think one, I've just been very busy working in different career points, trying to build a new network of podcasters, a new network of content creators, if you will. So that is definitely what has been eating up a lot of my time. Time that, again, should have been dedicated to communicating and engaging with the audience. But yeah, overall, here I am, and we are doing this episode of this quick talk here. I would say now we're on, where we're in the hundreds now. We've made it midway to the next episode. And, there's a lot of different directions where I would potentially want to take this show. I think marketing and digital communications has definitely played a major role in the pivots and the actions that I've taken. Content creation is so big now. And, when you look at things like affiliate marketing and those types of things, that could really open a lot of doors. A lot of doors to me, perhaps maybe teaching you all how to utilize these tools. I mean, affiliate marketing is remarkable because you could now provide people with resources they wouldn't naturally have. And now when you think about this and the integration of AI, there's many different directions I think this can go. But yeah, that was just at the top of my head. I don't know why. Overall, though, I do think media as a whole is definitely changing quite a bit. AI has become very, very frequent in the media. People are now always saying, oh, this is an AI video. This content has artificial intelligence in it, and so forth. AI has now become this big thing. But I would say this, this definitely leads to a lot of new changes too that I think are also positive. AI tools such as Claude have gotten better, all these different things. I would say this, I've definitely been using Claude quite a bit. I would recommend it. It's very good at content creation, it's very good at tool generation. Even if you're not the most savvy or talented, if you will, editor, these AI tools can really supplement and do a lot of great things. Um, Overall, I think media as a whole has grown very heavily. Even when it comes to AI and these things being used as tools, you know, when I think about it, this concept of content generation has really changed quite a bit. We're now using these different tools, we're using these different things, and again, it's paying off quite well. I would say in one instance, I was looking at these tools like Repurpose IO and what is it called? Cast Magic. Cast Magic is a really big one. Cast Magic essentially is a tool that could be used to generate more content. They also have another one called Content 360. So now you don't need a direct social media manager. You could just have a tool that pushes out this type of high level content very frequently. And I think that's very powerful, because now that we're not so dependent on a workforce, like I remember I would hire all of these people from foreign countries to automate my entire company. And now artificial intelligence can replace your entire workforce at this point. I think the closest or the best synergy is something like it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, yes. Okay, relax. If you search up what that is, I'm not a sponsor for this company, but they use AI and a bunch of other things from the Philippines and so forth, these workers, and they will essentially work to automate everything for you and to get everything done for you. So that is another interesting thing, I would say. I would say definitely in my day-to-day life, though, nothing much has changed. It's been the same old, same old. When you're super busy, um, I think cooking begins to become a hassle. I'd recommend one of these. You know, Sometimes people like to do microwaving. These microwaves aren't that bad. Um, they have these things called microwave chefs. So essentially, you can take something essentially like you can take like a piece of chicken, throw it in the microwave, and then it will cook the whole entire chicken and it will taste edible. I'll say this. You're going to have to throw some party on it. I don't care what it is, some garlic and parsley and so forth, but it's workable. Microwaves are pretty useful. I would say now, though, rice cookers are a pretty useful tool too, especially if you put, what's it? Right. You could put lentils in it. You could put rice in it. You could do a lot of crazy stuff with it. So I think overall that's also a pretty useful tool as well. But yeah, I think there's a lot of different directions convenient cooking can go, lifestyle cooking. I still do a little bit of baking on the side. Not sure if I want to continue. Yeah, so sorry about that. Was Alexa. Yeah, speaking of that, I do have some Amazon accessories in here too. I think those things are pretty useful as well, especially if you pair it with Audible. If you're super busy, you could have that stuff just playing in the background. But yeah, overall, you could do a lot of things. But I think overall, besides just productivity, certain hobbies are just useful too. You know, hiking, piano playing. Those are some things I do. I think those really can cut down on some of the nuances of life or the tiresome elements of life. It's not necessary 100%, but I think it can help quite a bit. But yeah, overall, I think that's the majority of what's going on. I think another element is definitely the noises I'm hearing right now. I'm hearing a lot of birds, lots of chirping. I used to do a little bit of birding on the side. The first bird I spotted, it was a white-throated sparrow. White-throated sparrow. There were some pretty interesting birds because the thing about them is they look exactly like a lot of these swamp sparrows you see. They're very similar. And that's one thing you learn about birding. A lot of the birds, especially the sparrows, you really gotta get up close to them, see them in person to really pick up and notice the way they appear. But yeah, overall, that's an interesting thing. There's one thing I would like to mention. It's this little thing right here. It's called a rocket book. Not terrible, but I would say it's a useful tool on the side. It's dirt cheap. And the thing about it is you can write down whatever you want and it will upload it into a cloud. So if you need to quickly jot down maybe some recipes, around sometimes I put together like a traditional loaf recipe for my sourdough. So I wrote that down. So it's a fairly useful tool if you think about it from that regard. I'll put a link for it. It is affiliate, but if you're interested in it, let me know. It's a pretty good deal as well. But yeah, overall, today's a Thursday. So I'm definitely going to have to go and get some work done. In the future, who knows? I might plan on building a podcast network. I always love podcasting. I've been doing it for a while, but I think I'm going to stick more to this style. I do think, I've done a lot of interviews, but I think I'm going to be making more of a pivot to more solo talks instead. But yeah, hopefully um, I can get some more things covered a bit later in the future, but that's the overall rundown. It's pretty much in the afternoon right now. Early in the morning, I was doing a bit of studying. Reading isn't that bad. If you don't put too much pressure on yourself, reading is pretty doable. But yeah, overall, that's the general gist of everything so far. I'll see y'all later, and I'm checking out now. Hopefully, I talked a bit about everything this episode. I'll see y'all later.